Hello, and welcome to a replay analysis with me, ViBE. And today, we're looking at Mon Capitan versus Claritin. Claritin, I kind of hope he wins. Not only is he a Zerg player, but he helps people get rid of their allergies. And that applies to me a lot. So, Mon Capitan, even though I know I'm doing a replay analysis for you, I hope you lose. Just because Claritin just sounds special. Now, I'm sorry, nothing personal. We have a Protoss versus Zerg, guys. We're going to be looking at the Protoss perspective. This is actually Silver League, for anyone who's curious. If you didn't read the title of the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, Silver League is the league we're looking at here. So, most likely we're going to be talking about a lot of macro stuff, and maybe we'll get a build going here. Well, the way replay analysis always goes is we look at how someone plays, we talk about what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, ways they can improve how they play, things like that. If this probe goes back to the main, it needs to not. Okay, so this probe is already now going to fudge up the timing. Also, you chrono boosted. So, step number one, do not chrono boost until your first pylon is done. Then you chrono boost. The reason why is because if you chrono boost before your first pylon's done, you will supply block like you are supply blocked. So that chrono boost literally got wasted, and then also it doesn't actually do anything. Like it's unnecessary. Because like think about it like this: you chrono boost like the second the game starts, like right here. Like we'll see when you do it. Chrono boost that nexus, then you make a pylon. Now watch this. You start the pylon, you make another probe. Your probe actually was idle there. How long was that idle for? Right, 22 it finishes. 23. It starts. Okay, it was idle for about like a second, like 1 second. But still, during chrono boost, every second is even more impactful. It's like double. But now watch this. 31, your probe finishes right here. It's done. 1 second already of chrono boost has been wasted from the between two probes. Now, 32, that's another second wasted. 33, that's another second wasted. 34, that's another second wasted. And now it's off. But you can't do anything about it because you're supply blocked. That's 4 seconds of chrono wasted, which is 8 seconds in total because it's worth double. And then, or pretty much, more like 6 seconds because it reduces it by half. The production time. So it's more like 6 seconds. And then, finally it starts up again. Like you were supply blocked there for a while. You were supply blocked in total. This time, let's not count how many seconds was wasted by chrono. We'll talk about how many seconds is wasted because you're supply blocked. 31, you're supply blocked. And you can't actually build another probe anyways until 41. Or 40. Or 39. So 31 to 39, that's 8 seconds of supply block. So like that chrono boost was definitely not worth it. You just supply block, like you supply blocked out. You would probably this is the better way to say this. You would have the same exact situation going on right now if you did not chrono boost. You would have your 16th probe starting right as your pylon finishes, regardless if you chrono boost or not. But if you had a chrono boost right now, you would be able to then chrono boost out the next like 2 probes a lot faster. Or basically 3 probes. And that's fucking huge, right? Like that's pretty massive. Because you would then get further ahead at this point now, because there's no reason to, there's no hiccup now. Like you can chrono boost and there's no delay, like there's no supply block that's gonna hit you. So yeah, always chrono when your first pylon's done. That's just simple as that. Never chrono before the first pylon ever. It's irrelevant. It gives you like the first 2 probes that pop out of your nexus from like 13 to 15. Those 2 probes, so 14 and 15, when they pop out after you throw the chrono boost on it, they will get you probably like the first one will probably get you an extra like 5 minerals that it wouldn't have gotten before, like 8 minerals that it wouldn't have gotten before. And the second probe will probably get you like a bonus like 16 minerals, because the first one's faster, which in turn means the second one's even faster, because it's like less time of waiting for that shit to go out when it would have otherwise been done. And then that's just, it goes away. The reason why it goes away is because you don't get to keep making probes after that. It stops because you supply block, so it becomes irrelevant. That's why it's then you would be able to get more probes up faster this way. So it doesn't make any sense. Yo, Fig Newton, thank you for the 2-month resub, dude. Welcome back for the resub, Bola. Vibe, you're the fucking man. B2GM is awesome. Thank you very much, Irk Biaches. I mean, Fig Newtons. You guys both typed at the same exact time. Sorry. Well, Irk. Thank you as well from earlier too. Fuck yeah. What up? Welcome. Hell yeah, boys. Fig Newtons, love you, man. Thank you very much, dude. All right. Now, let's go back to your build again. So this is like, your build's just getting kind of fucked up. It's sitting all fudgy already. Let's look at your pylon. Your probe should sit here, and the reason why is because it's okay if your probe goes back to the mineral line if your pylon is here, because it's a lot shorter of a distance. You could easily pull it off as the pylon's almost done, and you could make it here to build a gateway, because you could build a gateway from like literally standing right there. So it's not that far from the mineral line, right? You could build it from right there. But if you're gonna build a gateway that's up here, your probe has to go a full fucking, like 3 times the distance of that, or like that, to build the gateway. Maybe like 2.5 times that. It'd have to go from there also to like there, and then from like there to like there, to build there. A gateway like right, to build a gateway there would be like here. So yeah, like leave your probe at the pylon, because if you build a pylon in front of your natural, you're gonna have to run all the way back and then run all the way back to make it in time. You don't have time to mine minerals, so you might as well just leave it there. Doesn't make any difference. Yeah, you don't have time to mine, and if you don't do it right away, you'll miss a timer. So your gateway should be going down like right now. You should have a probe already sitting here, and it should be mining, or it should be making the gate. But now your gateway's delayed by about 2 seconds. And when you think about it, you're like, oh, it's just 2 fucking seconds, fine. Yeah, but it's irrelevant though. Like these 2 seconds is not needed. Of why he mined this patch to go turn it in and come back. It's not necessary. I would much rather have all the tech for Protoss be 2 seconds faster than have the 5 minerals from my natural patch, or whatever, or 5 minerals in the main, and then have it be 2 seconds delayed. Those 2 seconds are crucial, because again, it's all tech. And anyone who thinks, oh, who cares? It's only 2 seconds. You'll start caring when you fucking die to all ins, and you're like, wow, my build is so inoptimal, and I'm dead. And then someone else does something optimal, and suddenly they don't die. So again, I'm not saying Mon Capitan is saying this. I'm just saying in general, if you think that 2 seconds doesn't matter, oh, you'll realize that it does. Because if you're the guy who thinks 2 seconds doesn't matter, you'll say that about 10 things combined. The chrono boost or whatever, dude. 8 seconds, fucking not that big of a deal. 2 second gateway delay, not that big of a deal. The fucking, whatever. It's not, who cares? If the gateway is also done and the core is delayed, what, 4 seconds? Who cares? Every time you take another delay on top of a delay on top of a delay on top of a delay, it cascades to a massive delay, and then that makes your build really suck. It really does. Is the music loud? I can turn it down a little bit. But yeah, it can be, things just get massively delayed the more you don't actually like prioritize shit. It just gets a little bit much. So yeah, you definitely want to speed up that, like the gateway, speed it up, chrono boost after the pylon as well, if you can help. It's because again, what we're looking for is efficiency, and you know what efficiency is? Your graph. You should think of like a graph, okay? Where it just like it's the second the game starts, it goes like this. It just goes, and like the line starts like this. It starts going up, and then it spikes real fucking hard as it goes. Like it like slowly goes towards from a horizontal line to more and more and more and more and more vertical. So it doesn't have like just a linear line. It literally curves towards almost completely vertical. And the reason why that is because when the game starts, you're limited, right, by little bits of stuff. But then as the game progresses, you get more and more workers, more money, more income, and suddenly you start making shitloads of stuff really fast. The faster you can get that line going vertical and growth is better. And the more things you do that are inefficient where it hiccups your shit, imagine a line now going where it's like horizontal and it starts going vertical, but then it goes back to fully horizontal because you have a hiccup. Like I'm supply blocked for 8 seconds. That's a fucking straight horizontal line. That is not growth. That is you're just waiting for something to then open up. It's like you're locked. And then you have to wait for the next thing to progress. So try to think of it that way. And for all low league players, literally think about it like that because it's very true. The more hiccups your build has where it just gets stunted and stalled out, the worse it is. You want it to flow constantly, getting more and more powerful as you go. That's efficiency. Yo, Chapato, thank you very much, man, for the fucking sub. Hell yeah. Thank you, dude. Much appreciated. Okay, so you're scouting. I wouldn't mind if you just turn around and go home now. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, good. I'm glad you did. A lot of players in Silver League don't know what they're scouting. I'm not going to lie. But the fact that you saw a natural that is well underway, you should see a natural that was started just a little bit after your gateway. Because it's a little bit more expensive. So the fact that you saw his natural, you don't got to worry about shit. All you got to know is, oh, okay, there's a natural, and it's like not just starting. It's already almost like more than halfway done. That's great. Because that tells you you're not getting all in. You're not getting a Zerg player who's like 12 pulling you or something like that. It's not some weird Baneling bust that's really fast. It still could be an all in later on, but it's not a one base all in. So that's good. I'm glad that you don't have to make it super complicated. The fact that you turned around is great. Okay. And now let's wait. Hold on. I didn't pay attention. How many seconds goes by when the core is done, or before the core gets started? So here's another one. Okay, 129. Gateway's done. Core is ready. Oops, shit. I hit B like I was gonna build, and it just backed up the replay. 129 gateway finishes. Gateway's done at 129. You could build a core right now. Your probe should be here right now. This is something you got to start working on and timing. Also, you should be building a Nexus too. So you have the choice to either go core first or Nexus first. Either one is fine. I would honestly actually say I would rather go Nexus first. But also, if we think about that too, right? If you were gonna go Nexus first, you have 500 minerals in the bank, and now you're sending your probe down there. You should send your probe down there to go build your Nexus when you have roughly like 300 to like 310 minerals, so that as it travels, you generate the last like 100 to 90 minerals that you're missing, and you would get there, and then suddenly the second you get there, Nexus, and then you stay here, and you just build a core right after. But you're building this shit at almost 600 minerals in the bank. Like, this is so fucking late. And 129 again is when your core finished, and you're building the core at 136. Guys, that's 7 fucking seconds again. This is why Silver League is Silver League. Mon Capitan, I love you, man. I don't want to pick on you. I'm not trying to make it sound like that. But anybody who thinks this is if you were in Masters League, you would be like scratching the shit out of your skin, being like, fuck, why is everything so late? God damn, like I need to fucking make this build efficient. Because you would get, if you have, you know, oh, I'm supply blocked here already within the first 90 seconds of the game for 8 seconds. My core is 7 seconds late. My gate is 4 seconds late. Or whatever. If you have all these things where it's like my build already in the first 90 seconds is like 15 seconds late or 20 seconds behind where it should be, you would like, let's just say this was a PvP and you're reversing a player who is very efficient. It's like the second you're starting your core, his core is already like 75% of the way done. And you're like, ah, fuck. That's not good. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, well, shit. This is going to be a bit rough here. So, I mean, it makes a big difference. You got to make sure shit's efficient. Make sure shit's like flowing well. And you should always know how much try your best. If you're Silver League and you don't know these things, try your best to learn what the initial buildings costs. So you don't have to know every building in the game. Just know what a pylon costs. Know what a gateway costs. And know what a core costs. And like a Nexus, pylon, core, gate. These first 4 buildings you're going to make. So that when you want to make them, you send your worker there where the worker is gonna get there as you need to build it. So like sending your probe down to the natural at 550 minerals or 580 minerals to build shit is so fucking late. Because it's just delayed. Now let's see what goes on after this. What is gonna happen after this? Thank you. Okay, what's gonna happen after this? Sorry. So you build the core. You mosey on over to your natural. You mosey on over. And then you build a nexus. Yeah. And then right after you build the nexus, you still have 150. So super late. Okay. So your build is just not optimal so far already. Make sure you're always building shit a little bit quicker. Okay, where did your second chrono boost go? I need to go back and look at your nexus. Did you chrono your nexus again a second time, like right now? So, here's chrono boost allocation, okay? Because you can't afford it properly. Like, look at the next. Watch this. Guys. This is huge. This kind of shit's huge. Watch the nexus right now. At 121, probe finishes. There is still a chrono boost in the nexus for 5 seconds. Hi, Mila. Hi, Mila. Now, I know cutting probes is a thing for a second while you can get your core and your gate down. I'm not telling you that that's why that was a fuck up. What I am telling you is a fuck up was you chronoed a second time and you even again wasted some of the chrono. So what should be happening is your first chrono, like instead of telling you what you shouldn't do, I'll just tell you what you should do, because there was a lot of fucking hiccups there again. Again, your build, like, long story short, your build has hiccups in it like fucking crazy. What you should do is wait to spend your first chrono boost until your pylon is done. Pylon number one, like your chrono boost are paired with your pylons. Chrono boost number 1 starts when pylon number 1 finishes. It unlocks a new supply, you chrono boost. Chrono boost number 2 starts when pylon number 2 finishes. So pylon number 2 unlocks the next supply to chrono boost. Your second chrono boost on your nexus is going to always be paired with your first chrono boost on your gateway when you make like your stalker or whatever the hell you want to make. You're chrono boosting so fucking early and then just quote unquote supply blocking yourself. Because you would, if you would have kept making probes, you would have supply blocked yourself. But you stop making probes, which is okay, because you will do that at higher leagues anyways. You'll stop making probes for a second at 20. So you can make what's it called? Your core and your gate. The ideal build is you go pylon, gate, gas, probe all the way up to 20 supply with 1 chrono, make then at 20 a nexus and a core, and then you then immediately make a probe first right away again. Do not chrono. You make a gas second. You make another pylon, and then once the second pylon finishes, you'll be at 23 out of 23, and then you chrono again. That is how the build's supposed to go. So it's a little off right now. Yeah, this chrono is way too early. The second chrono you did was way too early. And then the second pylon was also... your second pylon was okay, timed. Your gas is late, though. Your second gas should have started before the second pylon. Always. Even if you're playing macro. Like, the whole point of going 1 gas into a nexus is that you make the nexus before the second gas. Whenever you play other matchups where you want to take a second gas faster, you can take... So the second... Basically, The second gas or the Nexus is what's the difference here. But you always make the other one after one of them if you're going to play macro. So if you go second gas first before a Nexus, that means you're probably going to have faster tech. If you go Nexus before a second gas, that means you're going to have faster saturation of your mineral line. But you're always going to take the second gas either way, early. After, like right after you build the Nexus, you build the gas. If you're doing a build that's like 1 gate Nexus. It's just you build the gas before the pylon, and then you build the pylon. And then again, when the pylon's done, then you chrono boost. So we'll see. We'll go from here now. We'll see what you're doing. Instead of watching income tab now, I'm going to watch your production tab. And I'm going to watch your probes. So Nexus is finishing. Right now you have 1 probe in production. Things like this again, guys. This is what matters a lot, honestly. Okay, that matters a lot too. What just happened here? Watch the core. You have enough gas for a stalker and a warp gate. Warp gate finishes at 213. Or Cybercore finishes at 213. You have not started a stalker yet. You start a stalker at 216. You chrono boost it. 213 is when your core finished. 213. You started this at 234. So this is 21 seconds late. So, you know, things like that. You know, I get it. Silver League, I understand. It's just stuff like this is those things that you just gotta try to stay on top of. Like the build is always going to be the same. So once you get repetition into it for yourself, you'll get it down. I'm just really letting you know that this is more important than it might seem. This is fucking huge as well. Like whenever you have a building that is just, if you ever build a building and it's just chilling, it's just sitting there. There was a cost there to make that building. There was a cost involved with that building. But now if the building doesn't do anything, just like the same thing with your Nexus. If the Nexus doesn't do anything, it's like, again, the line where it's supposed to grow just horizontals out. It gets, again, it's a hiccup in your build again. And too many hiccups means your build is like, one guy's build is way the fuck up here and your build's like way down here. And you're like, well, why are the lines so much different on this graph? It's because your opponent never fucked up and you constantly had these like hiccups throughout your build all the time. So you're way below your opponent in terms of efficiency. And if you're, you know, the better you get, this will become more apparent. Okay. And then I wanted to look at something else too. I was looking at chat for a second, sorry. I want to look at your Nexus. Your Nexus finishes at 254. How many seconds go by before you start a probe? Ten seconds. 10 seconds go by before you start a probe. Shit like this needs to be hammered down. Now I'm gonna look at your camera. I'm gonna look and see what you're looking at. Nexus just finished right now. You're fucking around with your gas right now. You're staring at your gas for a while. And okay, this is okay. It's not bad. It's totally fine. It's things like the little tasks like that are gonna get faster and faster and faster the better you get at StarCraft. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to pick on anyone. It's just what the habit should be. Okay, your hands should be. So you will, the more you play, the faster you'll get with like the mouse and stuff like that. Like I imagine this is probably what it looked like. Okay, this is probably what it looked like. If I were to recreate this, this is probably what it looked like. It's like right click, then you're like, oh wait, I got 4, and then you have 4 selected. You're like, wait, what? I just want 1. Click 1, and you're like, right click off. Okay, and then you're like, okay, well now we're good. And you're like no sense of urgency. You're taking your time. You're doing it. It's all G. You're just doing it. But that what the gas thing was, when you get faster and faster and faster at it, that could take you all of like 1 second. Like you green box, let's say you get 4 on accident, you're like, oh shit. You don't wait for it to mine, you don't do anything, whatever. You just literally either click one out of the bottom control group here, just left click one, or you click one of the yellow, like the selected probes like that, or like that. And you just click the mineral patch again. Fuck it. Do it quick. And again, you will get faster at it over time. and then you go back to doing whatever you're doing with the bases. Now, what you should be doing with your camera a lot, I'm really glad you hotkeyed your Nexus before it was finished. I'm really glad you did that because it's really important. I would have told you to do that if you hadn't already done that. What you should do with your eyes is have your eyes looking at the bottom of the screen here. This is one place your eyes should be looking at all the fucking time in Silver League and Gold League and Platinum League. And you're going to look at this all the time no matter what. But really, really, really start to develop a habit for this in anything below Platinum and below. Look down here a lot and look at these white boxes. And look at the open gray boxes. And always make sure you have 2 white boxes in here. 2. Always have 2. Because having 2 in here gives you 12 seconds to fuck it up, but still not fuck your build up. And what I mean by that is if you have 1 box in there and you check it 12 seconds from now, that's going to be 4 seconds of idle time on your Nexus because you only had 1 probe in there and you caught it 4 seconds after it was done. And then you made another one. But if you have 2 in here and you were to catch the Nexus 12 seconds after it was done right now, if there was only the 1 probe in here, you would have had 11 seconds of idle time. But if you catch this 12 seconds later, it's going to be 11 seconds into your second probe, and you can just fill this back up to 2 again. And you can fix it because again, if you have 1 queued up behind the first one, it'll always have a probe pumping, 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 and you won't have these idle hiccups of your Nexus. So always have your Nexus like toggle between like 4-5, 4-5, 4-5. Do that once every like 5 seconds. Try to do it often. Don't never do it. And then don't also do it like once a minute or something. Don't do it randomly. Do it literally like once every 5 seconds. Like do it often. Get in the habit of cycling groups 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5. Like do you hear people playing like this? Do you hear StarCraft players play the game? That's the kind of shit they're doing. They're rotating their shit around. That's why you hear people play like that. They're like a good player at StarCraft's not going to be like this. You know what I mean? Like and again, because you can have the group go like this, okay? You can toggle between the gateway, the Nexus, the gateway, the Nexus, the gateway, the Nexus. And if your eyes are literally just looking at production levels, and that's what you're focused on, you actually know what you're focused on, all you have to see is milliseconds of this, and you can go, yeah, 2 white boxes per Nexus. Good shit. I toggle back to my gateways. Good shit. Toggle to my fucking group 1 or whatever if I need to move it. Good shit, whatever. I use my probe for a second to go build something. I toggle back to my Nexus. Oh, 1 white box. Make 2 more because I have 2 Nexus to fill them back up to 2 each. It's it'll make everything so much easier. So much easier at maintaining little easy maintenance shit that needs to be done. We'll see how much idle time your Nexuses have throughout this. I'm watching that. Now your tech should definitely go down at this point, whatever you want to go for. I'll say this. Your tech should be going down right after you start a Stalker. Right after you start a Stalker, your tech should be going down. The fact that you have made a Sentry, a Stalker, and now a second Stalker, and you still haven't done your tech down, okay, we're going to talk about this as well. Look at the core. Your core was late as fuck too, right? Your core is late as fuck. But it's finishing at 212. 212, 213. And so we'll just say 213, whatever. I'll give you the extra second. How many seconds goes by until you throw a tech down? Now, while we wait for your tech to get thrown down, let's watch production tab and let's see how your workers look. So this is that 10 seconds that's about to happen where you miss your probes. All the natural and shit for a little while. Kind of sucks. There you go. You're making probes. This should always be 2. 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 Never goes down from 2. You definitely don't want to have your Nexuses fully stacked of 5 probes each, but it should always be 2. And it was always 2. You did a good job maintaining it now from when you eventually started. You did maintain. That was good. But your tech went down at 4 minutes and 5 seconds, and your core finished at 213. So you're almost 2 fucking minutes late on the robo. Like, I would say, realistically, if you make a stalker and a gateway, a core, your robo should go down about 15 seconds later. 15 to 20 seconds after your core is finished. So if your core finishes at 2:13, again, your core was late too, though. But we're just going with 2:13, okay? Just for the sake of an example of what you had here. Your robo should have been started. If this was at 2:13, it should have been started between 2:28 and 2:33. For this to be efficient. But it's going down at 4:05. So realistically, like 90 seconds late of what it should have been. It is like about 2 minutes after your core, though. Alright, now let's look at more of your shit. So now let's see what we're doing here. Oh, you got Stalker, Sentry. And I'm not even going to talk about your opponent. Doesn't matter what he's doing. The fact I see Spines, I see Static D. I'll just briefly say, you could easily take a third or do anything you want right now. You could do anything you want. The Zerg is playing so fucking safe. This is so inefficient for a Zerg to do that. Your build looks more efficient than the Zerg's just by seeing this. That's excessive. Now, I don't give a shit what he's doing. I really don't. Nothing again, at Silver League, we should not worry about what your opponent does because all it's going to do is fuck your own build up. But I'm glad you attempted a scout. Learning, like, just getting comfortable with throwing a scout out there every once in a while will get you used to, like, having a scout habit, basically. And then once you get better at the game, you can start actually trying to pay attention to what you see. But for now, just throwing it out there is fine. I don't care. But you definitely shouldn't fixate on it and be like, what does this mean? Spines and gases. Looks kind of like mutas. That's what I would think, honestly. I'd be like, maybe mutas. But, like, who fucking cares? If it was mutas, who gives a shit? If this guy takes really inefficient mutas, it doesn't matter anyways. As long as you have an efficient build. Because you could just be like, oh, I have stalkers. And I have a shitload of them. Versus your inefficient mutas. See, like, right now, again, you are supply blocked. Now, I guarantee, if I go back and watch this, I guarantee you're supply blocked because you looked at your scout. Watch this. Your camera. You're about to throw a hallucinated phoenix out there. Let's watch the scout, and I have a feeling you're going to look at it, and you probably think about what you see. Probably like, Watch production tab. No pylon. You're probably thinking right now, I bet right now, in your mind, when you play this game, okay, he's got fucking layers started, he's got gases at the main, he's got double gas at the natural, he's got spines, he's got spores everywhere. He could be doing some bullshit. Wait, oh fuck, I'm supply blocked. Don't give a shit about your opponent's build. It doesn't, honestly, don't even look at your opponent's build until you're like platinum. So your third base is also late.
Oh.
Yo, focus. Thank you very much for the Twitch Prime, dude. Welcome to the V fam, dude. Thank you. Hell yeah. Your third's a bit late, and you can clearly see you have easily enough money to afford it even earlier. But your third, if you want to play an efficient, like nicely timed third, aim for like 5 minutes, like between 4:45 to 5 minutes on the clock. That's a good third. If we go back to 4:45. Watch how much I guarantee you could afford it because you're doing a 2-gate robo. Watch 4:45 to 5 minutes. Look at your money. You could still easily afford it right now.
Does Twitch Prime count for the 500 sub goal?
It does not, Necron. It only paid tier 1 subs count. Twitch Prime does not count. 4:45, you could still now easily fucking afford this. But what are you doing? You're scouting. And this is throwing your whole fucking game off. This is why I tell people not to scout in silver. Other than the initial natural. And the only reason why I tell you to scout the initial natural is because if you don't see one, you would make a battery. That's how you would react to that. Just make a battery. And then do your build as is anyways. So it's like, well, no expand, I make battery. Yes expand, I don't care. And that's it. That's all. The only thing you scout all fucking game, other than like where you want to attack with your army when you're ready to attack when you're maxed out. But your third base could be started so easily right now. You have so much money. All right, and then and look, he's going Spire. That's what we said. That's what I would have thought. So again, it doesn't matter though. You shouldn't give a shit, because if you actually just play efficient, it doesn't. Nothing. The fact that he shows up with 8 mutas or something, you're gonna be like, I have like 30 stalkers. Nice. And then what do you do to deal with that? You just make fucking cannons and batteries at your mineral lines. All of them. Make like 2 cannons and 2 batteries or something at every mineral line, and then just keep making stalkers and immortals or whatever you want to make. Just make stalkers primarily. And if you have cannon battery at every mineral line, and then when you move out, if mutas show up against cannon battery, you can just do a warp in with all your gates at the mineral line that's getting hit. Be like, oh, just warp in like 8 more stalkers at this mineral line and reinforce it. And then 8 mutas are like, oh fuck, well 2 cannons, 2 batteries, now 8 stalkers. I gotta back off. And then you're like, well, I got like 30 stalkers still pushing you with like 4 mortals across the map and like 3 sentries or something, and now you're just dead. You know what I mean? Like it's... You would just crush his ass if you played that way. But what's happening now is you're starting to fall apart here, because you're just... I think you're focusing too little on your build and too much on your opponent's build. So right now what should be happening is your third shipment started a while ago. You should have already started more gates than 2 gates for sure. At this point, you should still be making probes, and you're not making probes anymore. And you should also be making forges. Because then you could be doing maybe like a council, Twilight Council, so you can start doing upgrades and stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying you need a blink micro. You literally not even get blink. I wouldn't give a shit. But like you need the council, so your forge upgrades can go beyond 1/1. And a great upgrade to get in this game, I would say, would be shields and weapons, not armor. And why is that? Because this is what I recommend as well for lower league players. You're not going to probably use a lot of zealots. You're probably going to use very heavy stalker compositions. And if you go stalker heavy, armor really doesn't make that much of a difference. Shields are good, but shields are also really good for silver players or gold players or whatever, platinum players, because it increases the defense of your base. So if you had shield upgrades on cannon battery versus muta, the mutas are going to show up and be so much weaker. Or zerglings or whatever. It also upgrades your probes. It upgrades all buildings and shit like that. It makes it easy as fuck to deal with harass, essentially. So your probes are going back into production now. Let's really quickly, this is the thing that blows people's minds. Let's look at how much time went by from your last probe you made. Like, how much time was idle on your Nexus? This is around when you started scouting. You just started scouting, and this is when you supply blocked. You've stopped making probes for like the last 3 seconds right there. Let's just really pause it at the exact second. Okay, at 4:36, you started scouting right now. You supply block and you stop building probes. 4:36. You don't start another probe until 4:52. That's 16 seconds for the first set, and you stop again. Because you're multitasking right now, so everything's falling apart. So you waited 16 seconds to make a probe. You finish. Okay, no, you actually made a second set here. That's good.
I am here in the shadows.
And pause. 5:17. Your probes stop again. Supply block? That's part of it. I don't care that it's a supply block. It's part of everything. There's no excuse to supply block other than the fact that it was distracting to scout. So at 5:17 to 5:43, that's what is that? 26 seconds? That's 26 seconds again of now no production. 26 seconds. So it's rough. And then now again at this point. This is the kind of shit that will break you. At 554. So that's 16 and 26 so far that have happened with no probe production. Now it happens again right now. This is the, again, it's like one set, and now it's happening again. And it was 556 when this started. And you start again at 625. So that's, what is that? 29 seconds? This one's 29 seconds of no probe. So it's just, you know, 17 plus 20, 26 plus 27. That's a lot. I'll have to be exact. Wasn't gonna try there. I was probably gonna fuck it up, but I don't care. It's not, you get the point. It's fucking. It adds up repeatedly, and now you're actually starting to make probes again actively. But you've already missed like a full minute of time of not producing workers for a while. And you're still pumping off 2 gates. This is way too... your third gateway is being started right now. Way too few gateways at this point in time. The ideal situation you want to go for is like this, okay? You can go up to like 4 production facilities, okay? Up to like 4 production facilities. Up to. And that's fine. If you take less, you can take a faster third. So if you go 2 gate robo into a third base, you could take your third by probably like 430. Honestly. 430. But you want to make on average about 4 production facilities per base that is saturated. So you right now you have I would say you have 4 in total, and you're making a 5th. And the reason why I say 4 in total, even though you only have 2 gate robo, is because a forge also counts to a degree. It's not as impactful as an actual production facility, but it's like a 0.5. It kind of counts because you have to still pay for the upgrades. It's a lot less expensive than like constantly pumping stalkers, but it still does have a cost. So right now, once you had your third base saturated, you should seriously have 12 production facilities. So you could have like 10 gates, a robo, and like 2 forges. Because again, a forge is like 0.5. Because again, it's not as expensive as a gateway to upkeep or a robo. It's a little less. Or if you wanted to make it really easy, you could just fucking overdo it. You could be like, because you might not macro perfectly with your gates, you could have 12 gateways for 4 gateways per fully saturated base, and then just add a robo on top of it and 2 forges, and a council for upgrades, and then eventually like a temple archive, so you can just make archons or whatever you want if you want to add that in. You don't have nearly as much production as you should. Like, if you ever get to 4,000 minerals, this is, I will say this, your macro this game in terms of spending, or okay, so macro is, there's like a 2-sided coin. There's generation and there's spending. In terms of generation, your macro is already, I would say honestly, like platinum level. You're like plat, maybe gold, upper gold, low plat is where I would put you for generation. You definitely have some fuck ups in your build here and there, but you're definitely generating at still a decent rate. But your spending is like silver 3 to like bronze 1. You like maybe bronze in your spending department because you're just not fucking doing it. Like, it's just not existing. So you definitely gotta like brush up on your spending, and just again follow the rule of like 4 production facilities per base. Because you're definitely generating at a faster rate than your fucking Zerg opponent. I guarantee you are. Because if you spend this money, you would have more supply than Zerg. And here's the funny thing: if you even have if you have just as much supply as Zerg as Protoss, and your Zerg opponent's going for mass roaches like this, you're fucking crushing his ass. Like, that's awful for Zerg. Zerg should, if Zerg is gonna go roach heavy like this, Zerg should be like a 30 supply or 40 supply lead above you. And if you got all this money spent, I guarantee you could be like at 120 to like 140 supply, somewhere in there, if we included the cost of the gateways and also the cost of the units. Like, you have a lot of money, man. How much probes do you have in his drones? He droned a lot at the end here. I do think his build was a little inefficient with how much static D he made. 3 spires, holy fuck. But yeah, like it's okay. Like, just gotta spend it, and you'll be like, you'd be in a great spot right now if you had just spent this money. If you had spending like he does, you would shit on this timing. Easy, easy. You would seriously, if you could just spin down to what his numbers are, you would probably be like 124 supply with what you currently have. And right now as well, you should be taking a 4th base. Like, the second your 3rd base gets saturated, take a 4th base. I think your biggest problem is that you're just not comfortable enough with it all yet to where you play it slow. And I think an exact example of that is how your natural was delayed for 10 seconds because you were fucking around with the gas. And how you got supply blocked massively because you tried to scout. Now, these things will become more comfortable in time as you play the game more and get more experience. That'll always happen. But just give yourself time to get better. That's all it requires. But just know if you can just maintain production on all your buildings as much as possible and try to prevent yourself from like supply blocking. Follow the build of the up to 23 supply portion I told you about, the Chrono Boost. That's so fucking huge at starting your build correctly and getting yourself set up well to the 2 base setup. That's huge. Don't wait in your mineral line until you have like 600 minerals almost to go build your core and your nexus, things like that. That's fucking huge. Try to be a little more efficient about it all. And then just know once you actually have that all kind of down, once you have a fully saturated base, 4 production facilities, 4 production facilities, 4 production facilities. And I don't mind if you do it in the order of this. Gateway, core, nexus. Quickly after, you can add on a 2nd gate to wall your base off, and then you can also add in the robo to go to the 2-gate robo opener that you had, which you've had all game so far. You can quickly take a 3rd base really fast off of that. I don't mind that. And then as soon as you start saturating that 3rd base and you have any extra money, 500 minerals. Like, as soon as you have extra money, we're talking like you have anywhere in the range of like 500 to 800 minerals. And you're like, well, fuck. My gates are on cooldown. I can't spend them yet. And my robo's still producing. Like, my production is being done. And how do you know this is happening? Because you're toggling 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. That's how you're doing it. You're toggling. And you are looking, you're looking. You go, probes are being produced, gateways are being used, robos being produced. I can't spend my money anymore. Gate. Okay, 4 more gates. Spend. 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Gateways are all being produced, robos are being used, nexus are all being filled up, and I can't, so like, everything's been spent properly, and I have another 800 minerals. Gate. Go all the way to like 4 gates per base you have. So if you have 4 base saturated, 16 gates. And then add on, like, again, 1 or 2 robos and 2 forges and the council and all your tech. And you'll be like, wow, I can actually spend my money. Because at this point right now, you should already have 12 a gate. Like, literally, I'll just say 4 gates per base plus everything else. You could have 12 gates in total, plus the forge, or plus the robo and the 2 forges, and your money would be easily being able to be spent by every 23 seconds. You could make 125 mineral expense times 12. So you'd be spending like crazy. You'd be spending 1,500 minerals every 23 seconds, just off the gates, and your robo would be spending 275 minerals every 39 seconds. So you'd definitely be able to spend roughly, like, we're talking 4,000 minerals a minute with that setup ish. Like a little bit less, because it's not exact, because again, it's the 23 seconds is not exactly a minute. It goes a bit over. It's a minute 9 if you're doing it perfectly. And we're also assuming you're not doing it perfectly either. You might miss a few seconds here and there. You could easily spend your money though. It'd be way easier to spend your money. And your army supply size would be a lot more realistic with his right now. Like, you'd be maxing out around like 10 minutes. Probably. But you're supply blocked again. Did you scout again just now? Hold on. Did you just scout again? I thought I saw you scout for a second for some reason. You didn't. But you gotta watch that shit, right? You gotta just make sure your eyes should be looking at 3 places. One in the bottom middle, the other one in top right to look at your supply and your current resources, because you want to kind of keep tabs on this. This should be unacceptable as fuck. The second this goes into 4 digits, if you're not maxed, that should be unacceptable. You should be like, gotta get my spending down. Like, holy fuck, we're definitely missing this like crazy. And then this too, you want to make sure you have a bit of a cushion all the time. You should always be looking up here. You should always be looking down at the bottom middle to look at your values of production to see if they're ready to go again and if you're keeping up on top of it. And then you should always be looking in the middle of your screen too, to be looking at things like the red. That needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. Look at this. That needs to be fixed. Look at this. That needs to be fixed. And what does that mean? It means you need to take another base. You should have taken another base already. Like I said before, once your 3rd base got saturated, you should have just started a 4th right then. But at this point now, this should be a reminder. I really fucking need a 4th base. When your opponent starts doing shit like this, cannons in the mineral lines, like 1 or maybe even 2 cannons in the mineral lines, and add in like 1 or 2 batteries. Just that should be your immediate response. Immediate response. And you can shut people down that play this way a lot. But just keep making units. And again, your supply right now is just, you have 7,000 in the bank with 3,000 in the bank. Your opponent, at this point, don't look at your opponent's bank and be like, oh, that's also bad because he's maxed. So it should go up now when you're maxed. Yours is not maxed. This just means your build needs to have a lot more production. You should actually be maxed with this much money. You should have been maxed easily by 11:37. You could have been maxed by probably 10 minutes. So, this seems scarier than it really should be. Because if you were maxed, imagine how much more fucking army you would have. You right now, you probably have like half the count of mutas. You have 18 stalkers, he has 54 mutas. You actually have like a third of stalkers to his mutas. And that's only because you're not macroing very much. Like this macro is non-existent really. It's definitely, the spending is down. So if you had an extra 80 supply of army right now to work with, that could literally be 40 stalkers. Or that could be maybe like, you know, like 25 stalkers and like 5 archons or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be a lot of shit here. And if you had a lot more stalkers here, this army is not actually that scary. It's not as scary anymore. It still is kind of scary, but it's not as scary. And now you go all in. And you're gonna die again only because, and again, like it's not even a situation where I'm like, oh, you shouldn't all in there. You still could have won. You were kind of just dead when the mutas showed up, because mutas can bounce around your base and gut you just like he did. He can kill Nexus, Nexus, Nexus. He killed all 3 Nexus super fast because he just target fired all your Nexus. And there's even if he was sitting there just getting shot the whole time by your stalkers, he would still have enough mutas to kill all of your Nexus and then get out with like still probably like 40 plus mutas, because 56 mutas are going to kill your Nexus in like 3 volleys. Dead. Dead. Like it takes like 3 seconds to kill a Nexus at that point. It's ridiculous. So you just needed a bigger army. You really just needed a bigger army. So just work on the spending. Really work on the spending. And really pay attention to the fact that like all of your missed timings of everything, again, it adds up. So whenever you hear somebody, because I always hear people say this kind of shit, where someone tells someone else, oh, you shouldn't do that because like it's 2 seconds of difference. That makes a difference. And someone's like, 2 fucking seconds? Like, come the fuck, like, seriously? 2 seconds? Who gives a shit? But then if you think about it like that, though, if you're like, who gives a shit? 2 seconds? It's like, okay, well, 5 seconds here, 4 seconds there, 8 seconds there, 12 seconds there, 9 seconds here, 20 seconds there, 25 seconds there. Suddenly your build is like still at 100 supply at 11 minutes. And you're like, ah, shit. I could have been maxed out a minute ago. So you got to respect those timers. Respecting those timers is how you will improve at this game. Because you're not losing due to any circumstance other than your macro is not up to par. And that's why. Again, if I had, again, one more time, from seeing everything I just saw, again, if I had to rate you, I'll be very specific this time. I gave you kind of ranges before. I would give you a Platinum 1, or Platinum 2, sorry, Platinum 2. I would give you a Platinum 2 generation. I honestly think your generation is almost ready for, you know, fully committed to like Platinum play. You just fix your, you know, the couple supply blocks you had, and then constantly make those probes, and you're good. You did a decent job doing it. It was not that bad for your generation. Your spending is like bronze 1. I don't think it's bronze 3. That's being harsh, but spinning is probably like bronze 1, because I think your spinning was even in the beginning of the game, it was still kind of fucked up with how you took your Nexus and your core and shit like that. It was all delayed anyways when it doesn't need to be. But after you made your Nexus and your core double gate and your yeah, the core double gate Nexus, that was it. Your Robo was super late, your third was super late. Every other production facility, like these didn't even get used, I feel like. They were super late. Everything was super fucking late. And then your upgrades were super late. And you did not even have a sense of urgency to build it, even after you were in the thousands of minerals. Like when you're at the point when you had like 4,000 minerals, you were still working with 2-gate Robo. You didn't even start these yet when you had like 4K. So definitely work on that spending. And again, follow the rule of like four gates per Nexus for silver. That'd be great. And you would be skyrocketing through your leagues, man. 100% for sure. Ortosis, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome everybody. I'm wrapping up a replay analysis right now, but thank you very much, guys. Welcome. Hope your stream was fucking good. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. But yeah, fix that spinning, dude. Mon Capitan, and you will have such better success. And suddenly you're the one who might hit the Zerg. Because here's the thing, going Stalkers is cheaper than going Mass Mutas. So if you, like, realistically, you should 100% be able to max out before a Zerg can max out on Mutas if you're going Stalker. And if you maxed out on Stalker and your opponent's going Mass Mutas, realistically, numbers that would probably be like more accurate to look at would be, you would be 200 supply, the Zerg would be like 160. Unless the Zerg was like ridiculously greedy, which he wasn't, because he was over here making fucking static deal out of his ass like crazy. Like going triple spire. Like this dude had a lot of inefficiencies himself. So he wasn't as greedy as he could have been. So yeah, like you should definitely, there's no excuse to not max out before a Zerg does if he's just going to go pure muta. That just means that your build just had a lot of it, you know, you just weren't spending your money. So yeah, man, work on that and that'll help you a ton. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it like insightful, informative. I hope it made sense. Thank you guys for watching the replay analysis. If you guys liked it, go check out more videos. I have more coaching videos. I have other replay analysis videos for all kinds of leagues, not just silver. And I also have a Bronze GM series. So if you want like a full-on guide of step-by-step about how to like play the game better, check that out too if you're interested. But thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. And until next time.
Thanks, ViBE.
Thank you, Mon Capitan. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, guys. Peace out.